So John, for large environments or, when you're doing the process of patching and updating at scale, so to speak, what's really changed within vSAN and vSphere in terms of trying to make that process faster?
So my favorite tool is the shift as we've made from VUM to VLCM. So, vSphere Lifecycle Manager. And it's got a really cool capability to think about is it can actually do parallel remediation. So we could be patching 64 remote clusters at once with 2 node hosts, so 128 hosts. We could basically say, let's patch these and it'll roll one side of the two, then the other side. If we're able to use quick boot for those, so we're just patching drivers or just the vSphere, maybe pushing a security patch. In that case, we're not having to go all the way down and reinitialize the host and stare at memory initialization and, see every NIC and every sensor initialize. That's really fast. There's also all the improvements we've made just in speed of remediation in terms of how we save that data. And then also remember, previously, if we had all of these sites, we'd have to have one witness VM running back at the main data center. But if I've got 64 of these sites, I can now have a shared witness that is actually able to provide witness to all 64 of these sites. And so that way I can patch all these and then patch that witness and be done rather than having all these extra components and extra resources. So vSAN at scale is a lot easier to lifecycle, and it's not something that we have to serially do or constantly be keep changing our gaze and manually be pushing it to all these sites. We can automate this all at scale.
I love that scenario that you brought up there where you have 64 two-node clusters, because think about what the comparison would be for if you're trying to do the patching and updating in VUM. That would have been much more challenging, much more time consuming in that process. But here you could do, maybe with a combination of there, you can do that in almost just minutes because of these other capabilities that you mentioned. I love that scenario.
Yeah, and operationally, I mean, nothing stops you from saying, I just want to do one real quick or one or two and test them and make sure. And since this is all like hardware everywhere, okay, that went well. Or maybe I patched it today and I wait a day, and then the next day I blast the rest of them out. So
Yeah.
good times.
Yep.